national anthem. That's us. Okay, wait, what's your guys' speaking? Are you guys doing the speaking for this?
We're doing college.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah.
Okay, well, hold on, let me just see. Oh, okay, so it'll say about the choir. Cool.
Holiday wishes, President Republic's after, and then pledge allegiance moment of silence. Okay, so after moment of silence is motto. Service medley. Or
You went a page too far.
my bad, chat. Please move in and take your seats. The assembly will begin in 2 minutes. Holiday wishes presentation.
So I go sit down when they come up.
Yeah, they're supposed to go up first. They're supposed to start it off basically, and then it's like, we first have an announcement by student activities. Please welcome student activities representative Addie Wagers Pack and Gabby Richardson. Then you see her do her stuff, I do my stuff, stand at ease, you'll yap, she'll yap. Oh dang, you yap a lot. Yap until remain sitting for the moment of silence, pledge allegiance. Battalion, attention. Present. Wait, post at half court. What do I put? So I present them when the color guard comes in?
No, freezer, color guard gonna come in.
Okay.
Yeah, because freezer, arm.
Then order arms. You'll yap again. I pledge allegiance. After you pledge allegiance, color guard order arm, right turn and marches out. Also, when they're out, you finally say, please be seated. So I'll be like, commanders in sequence, bring your units to parade rest and sign up for their company motto. They do their mottos, and then at the sound attention, sign up for the big battalion motto. The battalion motto. Commander, stay close. Your company's moving to the bleachers. Then I come right back to you.
So yeah, after
Can you hear me?
Good morning, everyone. All right. We will first have an announcement by student activities. Please welcome student activity representatives Addie Wagasback and Gabby Richardson.
Good morning. My name is Addie Wagasback, and I am the chair for this year's Holiday Wishes.
My name is Gabby Richardson, and I'm your chair for this year's Holiday Wishes.
Holiday Wishes is our annual school-wide community service. This project aims to help local communities' most vulnerable populations. We will kick off next Monday, November the 11th. This year's theme is Holidays Around the World, and we hope that everyone at Blythewood High School will step up and contribute to this project to improve the world we live in.
This year's Holiday Wishes will be supporting 4 local organizations: PALS, Sister Care, Midlands Orphan Relief, and the Troy Moore Memorial Scholarship.
We know our Blythewood community can make a huge impact, so we set our goals high. Our goal for PALS is 1,000 items. Our goal for Sister Care is 500 items and $500 in gift cards. Our goal for Midlands Orphan Relief is 1,000 items, and our goal for the Troy Moore Scholarship is $5,000.
You can participate by donating through your teachers or to 401. Also, by participating in our fundraising events, you can help tremendously.
Thank you so much for your time, and we hope that you all will help us share joy and spread hope this holiday season.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Cadet Major Emma Shower, the Executive Officer of the JROTC Bengal Battalion. I will be the Mistress of Ceremonies for today. Before we get started with our Veterans Day ceremony, I would like to introduce our Bengal Battalion Command Sergeant Major, Jasiri Simmons.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of our Richland II schools, Superintendent Dr. Kim Moore, Principal Mr. Matt Sherman, Instructors Major Brown, Sergeant First Class Bell, our distinguished visiting veterans, and the JRTC Department, we welcome you to today's Veterans Day Assembly. When Francis Scott Key wrote the Star-Spangled Banner over 200 years ago, he called America the land of the free and the home of the brave. Those words are as true today as they were then. Throughout this nation's history, American soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardmen have bravely answered the calls to defend our freedom, to aid our friends and allies, and to turn back the world's aggressors. We can never fully repay our debt of gratitude to the more than 750,000 American service members who have died in battle, or the 1.9 million who have been wounded. We can, however, recognize and thank the over 20 million veterans still living today. These words are inscribed on the Korean War Memorial in Washington, D.C. Our nation honors her sons and daughters who answered the call to defend a country they never knew and a people they never met. Those words apply equally to many of our World War I, World War II, Vietnam War, Gulf War, Afghanistan, and Iraqi freedom veterans as well. They apply to today's active duty service members, tomorrow's veterans who are helping to maintain peace throughout the world. Today, it is our privilege to say thank you to all American veterans, to let them know we appreciate them for all their service and honor them for their sacrifices. The price of freedom is high. We cannot afford to forget those willing to pay for it. Today, we celebrate America's veterans for keeping the nation the land of the free and the home of the brave. Please stand for the presentation of colors by the Blythewood High School Color Guard, the performance of our national anthem by the Blythewood High School Choir Chorus, and the playing of our America the Beautiful by Mr. Caleb Hilton. Remain standing for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Please remain standing. Before we recite the Pledge of Allegiance, please join me in a moment of silence for those service members and civilians who were injured or paid the ultimate sacrifice in the past year. America's enemies will always attempt to destroy our freedom, but they have not succeeded because of our veterans who so bravely fought to protect us, and they will never succeed because of current and future United States service members. America's service members will always prevail. Please show respect during this moment. Thank you. Please join me reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
stand when your branch song is played. Salute to the armed forces played by the Byford High School Blue Legion.
Today, we demonstrate our sense of national unity all across the country as we remember the fallen, honor those who serve, and teach our children the value of freedom. Now, Cadet Power First Class Kaden McComish and Cadet Corporal Champ Harris will lay a wreath in memory of those who have served and are serving in the United States military. Next, Cadet Corporal Brianna Anthony will lay a rose in memory of those who have served and are serving in the United States Army. Next, Cadet Private First Class Caroline Collins will lay a rose in memory of those who have served and are serving in the United States Navy. Next, Cadet Private First Class Jaslia Sanders will lay a rose in memory of those who have served and are serving in the United States Marine Corps. Next, Cadet Private First Class Jada Britton will lay a rose in memory of those who have served and are serving in the United States Air Force. Next, Cadet Second Lieutenant Alexander Taney will lay a rose in memory of those who have served and are serving in the United States Coast Guard. Next, Cadet Private First Class Jessica Tarpley will lay a rose in memory of those who have served and are serving in the United States Merchant Marines. Finally, Cadet Private First Class Fabian Wood will lay a rose in memory of the 93,129 United States service members from all branches whose last known service was either prisoner of war or missing in action. These individuals have not yet returned to their families and their homes. We shall not forget you. The wreath and the roses before you represent our commitment to a nation. Remember the fallen. We also want the wreaths and roses to symbolize our honor to those who have served and are serving in the armed forces of our great nation, and to the families who endure sacrifices every day on their behalf. To our children, we want you to understand the freedoms you enjoy today have not been free, but have come with a cost that someday you may have to pay yourself. As a nation, staying together, we can defeat terrorist hatred and injustice. Thanks to our veterans, we have the freedom to do just that. The battlefield across UC is a monument used to honor our comrades lost on the battlefield. The cross comprised of the boots and the tread the path of the victory. The rifle carried by the warrior that staved off the enemy and supported their brothers in arms. The helmet that guarded the wisdom and leadership of the warrior. Lastly, a set of identification tags known as dog tags, the finally physical reference of the warrior's identity for their unit and their service.
Good morning. I am Cadet First Lieutenant Kaylee Wogby. This morning, I am honored to explain the symbolism of the small white table to my left. This is called America's White Table and symbolizes the service members who will not be at our dinner tables this evening, the prisoners of war and those missing in action. A small table shows one service member's lonely battle against many. Cadet Private First Class Kamari Ragland covers it with a white cloth to honor a service member's pure heart when he answers his country's call to duty. Cadet Sergeant Nisha Myers places a lemon slice and grains of salt on a plate to show a captive service member's bitter fate and the tears of the families waiting for a loved one to return to them. Cadet Private First Class Andrew Jennings pushes an empty chair to the table for the missing service members who are unable to be here. Cadet Private First Class Kylie Nance lays a black napkin for the sorrow of captivity and turns over a glass for the meal that won't be eaten. Cadet Private First Class Diana Simmons places a white candle to represent the peace which is only possible through sacrifice. And finally, Cadet Private First Class Peyton Davis places a red rose in a vase tied with a red ribbon for the hope that all our missing will return someday.
Now we hope you all enjoy a short performance by the Blythewood High School JRTC drill team. Our highly competitive drill team has consistently ranked amongst the best in regional drill meets. In the armed drill team you see before you, they placed 14th in the nation at Daytona Beach at All Service Nationals. Please give a warm round of applause to the Armed Bengal Battalion drill team. Our guest speaker today is our own Air Force retired Colonel Morgan Curry. Colonel Curry is a retired Air Force colonel with over 26 years of military service. He graduated from the Air Force Academy in 1993 and spent the first half of his career flying aircrafts, including the KC-135 tanker and the T-37 trainer. In 2007, he began flying drones, aircrafts, and flew both the MQ-1 Predator and the MQ-9 Reaper. He commanded at the flight squadron and the group level, accumulating in the command of Kadar Air Force Base in Afghanistan in 2015. He would go on to serve as the Director of Operations to Air Force Central Command, where he retired in 2019. Immediately following his retirement, Colonel Curry became one proud Bengal and started teaching engineering to all grade levels. He has a passion for robotics and solving problems and considers teaching an extension of his service to our country. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Colonel Morgan Curry.
Good morning, everyone. All right, veterans, good morning, students. All right, so it was 2019 when I retired from the Air Force. In that fall, I sat right up there at my first ceremony up here. Right, so in 2020 we had a little thing called COVID, but we got back in the groove, and now we're doing something that I think is so important. Okay, which is paying honor to these veterans. Okay. For veterans, I need to use you as a bit of a prop because I need to show these students something that I feel has been missing. So when I started teaching, I came out of a community that was full of trust. Like you could trust me to do anything, I could trust you and just look at you and say, I need you to do this. You would look right back and say, yes sir, what am I going to do? Okay, when I went into the classroom, and students don't believe anything, what do I gotta look? What do I need to know the area of a circle for? What do I need to do this? Why do I have to do this? Why? Trust. You can't trust me to listen right now? This is important. So the mistake I was making was that I was thinking that trust was something that I had to give them. Okay? The answer is with you students. Okay? Trust is not something I can give you, it's something that you have to give us. It's like me saying, I make the best cookie in the world. Well, show me the cookie. I want to see it. And so kind of trying to figure out, well, how do I build up this trust? Okay? The answer I came up with is you have to know a little bit about our history. Okay? You have to watch me. You have to see how I act and what I do. Okay? And then, when you experience it for the first time, you have to keep repeating that. So, veterans out there, students, let me tell you something that all these veterans have been through. And by knowing a bit of their common history, you're going to start trusting us. Every one of these veterans went through some form of basic training. Hey, you've seen it in the movies. Hey, you've probably heard about it if you've got parents and they can tell you stories. It's not the easiest thing in the world. And it's really the first time that you feel a trust that just, it blows your mind. I remember one time in basic training, we were doing field training. So at the end of the day, our cadre decides, you know, we need to go for a run with rifles. Those same kind of rifles you just saw there. So they're big, heavy, with things. We probably ran about 2 miles. And we ended, I know the time is perfectly, we ended right around 5 o'clock, right when there was going to be a retreat. We crested this hill, and there was the flag. There was a small group of people honoring the flag. And we were tired, but we stood at attention. We understood what that meant. I just remember the pride I had in my country, being able to survive this run, being able to do this. The flag went down. They put us at ease, gave us about 2 minutes to catch our breath, brought us back in attention. We could see where we were going. It was right over there. You know what they said? They said, about face. We turned around, we ran that 2 miles again. I thought I was going to die. I thought that was, I didn't know that I had it, but we all made it. We worked through. I had that trust in the person right next to me. And every one of these veterans over here, they've been through some kind of basic experience, right? Whether it was with that gas mask, we all remember that, right? Hey, there's nothing in here. It feels great to take off the mask and think you're going to die, right? You trusted your instructor. Then let me tell you something else all these veterans did. At some point, these veterans had to deploy and trust someone else they didn't even know. Whether it was to a foreign country, whether it was to a different area of our country. It's one thing to leave your family, right? And I know there's plenty of people that have military members up here. But when you leave, like, you never forget about your family, but now you're focused on the mission. So you're trying to gain all those other parts of trust that you need. So one quick pilot story. The way you get fighter pilots across the big oceans is you put them at the back of tankers. So I used to fly tankers, AC-135s, and we call it chicks in tow. The little fighter pilots would be behind us, and we would fly them across. Okay, so you start in the corners. You start either in Washington State, or you start up in Maine, New Hampshire. So I grew up in Orlando, sunshine all the time. I saw a little bit of snow out in Colorado. And we go up to New Hampshire and it is snowing. It is snowing hard. I got 50 people in the back, all my maintainers were getting ready to pick up these fighters the next day and drag them over to England. It's at night. They're literally telling us the runway's closed right now because we're plowing it. And you gotta get down. I'm like, okay, here we go. This is where I came from. I'm 28 years old. This is my first as the aircraft commander. Right? I got all these other young people around me. I didn't have an experienced instructor. And listen to what he said. He said, I've never tried this before, but I heard from some of the guys who fly up here gotta turn off your lights. I'm thinking, it's crazy. I gotta turn off my lights. So I go ahead and do this first approach. As I come in, you're in the clouds. As soon as you came below the clouds, it was just like those movies. The snow was just going everywhere. I couldn't see it. I literally had to go around. If you've ever been in a plane that's gone around, like an airliner, you go, well, something went wrong up there. I got 50 people in the back going, something's going wrong up there. And the guy said, hey, let's try it. Let's try turning off the lights. Okay, so we actually told the tower what we're gonna do. Okay, we're gonna turn off our lights, make sure everything is up nice and bright. I'm gonna trust you guys. Came in again, turned off the lights. There was a beautiful field there. It was a beautiful snowy day, right? Landed it right down. Did the slowest taxi in my entire life. Right? The plane kept skidding away from me. But in that moment, we had to totally trust somebody that we didn't even know doing something that we've never tried before. Okay, so that is trust. That's something that all these people have experienced. Okay, the third thing that I want to share with you. Okay, not only do we have to trust someone else, there's times where we have to say things, and we have to know that you're going to trust us. To me, the best example of this is when I took over the air base in Kandahar in Afghanistan. I only had like 6 hours with the outgoing commander. There's not a lot of time for swap. And one of the first things that he told me, he goes, yes, you have to keep the airfield running, but to me, my most important mission was to look every airman in the eye and tell him what to do when that siren went off. Okay? I do my demo with a siren, but so it might cause a little PTSD because that siren still rings in my head sometimes. The siren is what went off. It was an automated thing when the radar picked up a mortar or a rocket coming in. They weren't aiming very well. They were kind of landing on the ground, but they were still shooting at us. Okay? And you hear that siren, and he said, the number one thing I want you to tell your airmen to do is to whatever they're doing, get on the ground. And he said, there's going to be a lot of other people around. There's going to be contractors that are old heads that don't care. There's going to be people in other services that don't take it seriously. I don't care. Okay? I want your airmen, when you hear that siren, you lay on the ground. If I took that very seriously, very personally, I looked into it, there's all kinds of charts that show you're on the ground. The magnitude's kind of safer. Okay, so I need to convey this with a sense of trust to all these airmen. I look them all in the eye and I tell them this. But sure enough, one of my young airmen, I can picture right now, she's like 22 years old. She was on one of my alternate airfields up in Jalalabad. If you don't know where Jalalabad is, kind of in the upper right corner of Afghanistan. It used to be a ski resort. It was beautiful up there in the winter. She's sitting in her base. She's in her cot. She hears the sound. She rolls off her cot. She's literally, like, I talked to her afterwards. She said, you know, here we go. I'm going to be on the floor for a while. Literally rolled off. The rocket hit 5 feet away on the outside of the tent. Shredded her tent. Shredded her cot. Shredded an overhead light that then swung down and nicked the back of her heel with the broken glass, and they had to put a Band-Aid on it. By the way, a Band-Aid is not enough for a Purple Heart. She survived, and she totally said, all I did was trust and remember what you said. That just made me feel incredible. So that's a bit of history. Every one of these veterans over here went through basic training in order to trust each other. They deployed somewhere, okay, and they learned to trust someone they didn't know. They had to give out some kind of order when they were expecting trust back. And so I'm continually trying to earn your trust. Okay? I want you to know my history. I want you to know our history. I want you to see how I act. How I act in the classroom, how I act around the hallways. Okay? And then, as you're ready to reach out, when we do interact, right, it's positive. Okay? And you start to build that trust. And everything's not some conspiracy. Everything's not some, oh, you're just saying that. Everything's not, you know, all these superlatives. So that's my message to you, the students. Right? I have a great group of veterans over here, and they're not just here, they're everywhere in this country. Okay? I'm not saying you can trust every veteran. That's not what this is about. This is about knowing what some veterans did, what they can do, and how when they reach out to you, when they reach out to you, or if you reach out to them, keep that in mind. Give them a little trust. Thank you all. It's great to be here.
As we celebrate Veterans Day, it is important that we recognize veteran organizations who continue to serve our community and assist veterans in need. The first organization we will recognize is the American Legion. The American Legion is one of the largest veteran organizations with approximately 2.9 million members around the world. The American Legion conducts many programs designed to benefit our nation's youth, such as Legion Baseball, Boys Day and Girls Day, Law Cadet, the High School Oratorical Contest, Junior Shooting Sports Program, Scouting, and American Legion School Awards. Representing Post 182 is Commander Mark Steers. The Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States with its auxiliaries include 2.4 million members and approximately 9,000 posts worldwide. It supports its mission to honor the dead by helping the living through veteran service, community service, national security, and support for a strong national defense. The VFW supports JROTC by awarding scholarships to the Voice of Democracy. The 3rd Battalion, 60th Infantry Regiment is our adopted school partner unit from Fort Jackson. We partner together throughout the years and events on post as well as at Blackwood High School.
At this time, we would like to recognize our veteran teaching staff, serving selflessly on a daily basis. Our staff is represented by veterans from the Vietnam era through more recent operations in the Middle East. Please hold your applause until all names have been read. Being recognized today for their service are Marvin Ash, 23 years, United States Army. Sergeant First Class Bell, 22 years, served in Iraqi Freedom Campaign, Operation Kosovo Forces, and Stabilization Forces, Bosnia, United States Army. Major Brown, 22 years, Operation Desert Shield / Desert Storm, Operation Enduring Freedom, United States Army. Morgan Curry, 26 years, Pilot, United States Air Force. Geneva Dunn, United States Army. Don Ferry, 4 years, Air Traffic Controller in Operation Iraqi Freedom, U.S. Army. Joseph Gonzalez, 5 years, deployed in Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom, United States Army. Angela Lockhart, 4 years, Administrative Specialist, United States Air Force. Natasha Pinpenny, Army National Guard, served 16 years. Roscoe Powell, 4 years, United States Air Force. Tonisha Reese, 5 years, United States Army. Kevin Rottletter, 6 years, United States Marine Corps. Andrea Sibuski, 8 years, who served in Desert Storm, United States Army. James Sabostis, 3 years, United States Army National Guard. Tamika Williams, Sergeant, 10 years, United States Army. Our legacy veterans are Dennis Cordova, 36 years, 2 deployments to Iraq, Apache helicopter pilot, Army National Guard. Charles White, 23 years, 1st Gulf War, Center for Army Leadership, Briefing Officer for Army Chief of Staff, U.S. Army. Armando Uturia, 27 years, Special Forces, Sergeant Major. Thank you for your service. Please give our veterans a round of applause.
Next, we would like to recognize our school recruiters. We are very thankful for all that the recruiters do and for being dedicated to help youth begin careers of service in the United States Armed Forces. Their work ensures that future generations will have service members to protect them and guard their freedom. The first recruiter we will recognize is Army Recruiter Staff Sergeant Singleton. Marine Corps Recruiter Sergeant Monroe, Navy Recruiter Petty Officer Kelly, Air Force Technical Sergeant Petra Smith, and Army National Guard Sergeant Gilbert. At this time, we will recognize all veterans who are here today. If you are currently serving or have served in the United States Armed Forces, please stand to be recognized, saluted, and celebrated. Thank you for your humble service and sacrifice.
The melancholy bugle call, known as taps, is thought to be a revision of a French bugle signal. It was sounded an hour before the final bugle call to end the day by extinguishing fires and lights. The arrangement we use today was created during the America's Civil War by Union General Daniel Adams Butterfield. The first time it was played at a military funeral may have been in Virginia shortly after Butterfield composed it. Not wanting to reveal his battery's position in the woods to the enemy nearby, Union Captain John Tidbell ordered it substituted for the traditional 3-rifle volley at the burial of the cannoneer killed in action. 10 months later, taps was played at the funeral of Confederate General Stonewall Jackson, and by 1891, Army infantry regulations required taps to be played at military funeral ceremonies. Taps is now played by the military at burial and memorial services to accompany the lowering of the flag and to signal the lights out command at the end of the day. As you hear taps played today, please ponder in silence the cost of freedom and the role of our service personnel in payment of that price. Remember someone in your family or circle of friends who served or serves in the armed forces and in protection of our nation. Take this opportunity to consider the courage and commitment of those serving today, abroad and at home, as we face enemies of substance and of shadows. Consider how you will work to preserve and defend the freedom for which so many have given their lives. Please be respectful while Adam Ortiz of the Blue Legion Marching Band plays taps.
Our principal, Mr. Sherman, one proud Bengal, will now give the final remarks.
Bengals, as we gather together, first, I want to give thanks to our performing students, our band, our choir, our drill team, our color guard, to the squads and their cheers, which, by the way, gave me chills. That was amazing. Let's give them all a round of applause. Thank you. And one of the main reasons we're here, to our veterans. Not only our veterans that have joined us as our guests, but our Bengal veterans. Let's give all of them a round of applause for their service to our country. And to you, the students, thank you for coming and giving us your time, your reverence, your respect, as we not only honor the efforts of our Bengal Battalion to put all this together, but our veterans. But something else I want to point out. As Colonel Curry mentioned trust, There's a lot of trust to support our veterans, not only in their efforts and their service to our country, but while they're away. Not only while they're away, while they're transitioning, while they're moving their families. So I need a little bit of help. First off, to our veterans, please stand and remain standing for just a moment. All of our veterans, please stand. As they're standing, please join them. If you're the son or the daughter of a veteran, please stand. If you're the husband or wife of a veteran, please stand. If you're a nephew and niece, a grandparent of a veteran, please stand. So Bengals, pause for a second, stay with me, pause for a second, look around. Understand the ripple effect that not only our service members have on our country and the protection, but all the folks here who play a part in the trust to support them while they're away, while they're in service. Let's give all these folks a round of applause. Please be seated, please be seated. And here's my challenge as we wrap up this morning. Celebrating our veterans doesn't come down to one day, one assembly. And so here's my challenge to you. As we lead today, and we not only take this respect and this growth and what we've learned about respecting our veterans, do not stop at words alone. I believe true respect and trust comes from your actions. If you're out and about and you see a serviceman in uniform or servicewoman, say thank you. Extend your hand, shake their hand, look them in the eyes, a young adult, say thank you. As you're on the way to school on a Wednesday morning, and as you're at Chick-fil-A, Zaxby's, all these other places you go, buying a cup of coffee, buying your breakfast, and you see a service member, buy their cup of coffee. Do not stop at words alone. As you leave today, Bengals, make sure that you represent Bengal Nation as our ambassadors. When you see a veteran, we not only say thank you, we show them in action. Friends, thank you for your time this morning. At this time, we're heading back to first period. Great job, Bengal Nation.